Man, am I having a hard time getting myself in the mood for this today. I got Mother Nature just screaming out there on the radio, but I can't seem to get myself in the headspace where I want to go talk on that either, so figure F on it. Might as well work. Well, here we are, once again. Just you, me, the rest of YouTube Gargler. So, let's slide this beautiful little gem into play here. It's a 2-pill. It's got SRF, what are these son of a guns again? 3795s, which is a viable replacement made by RF Parts for the 455 big body. At least that's what they claim. Now, the customer states, I don't remember what happened with it. End quote. He goes, I want you to do a power wire upgrade and make it do whatever it can do. I said, okie doke. The first thing we noticed right off the hop is it's got a positive wire, but there's only a little tiny drip of solder on one wire. And it doesn't quite reach. These transistors are $47 a piece. And they're like double black dot, which usually indicates they have a really high gain structure. But we can tell just by looking at this that somebody's had their fingers in this, right? A ton of fingers, all up in her, doing what they got to do here and here. Or is it supposed to be here? Hell, I don't know. But first things first, we got to make it so it allows power into the box. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to skip over all the niceties. And we're going to go straight to a power wire upgrade. Clean up these connections over here a little bit. Clean up this connection here. And clean up some of this mess in here. And we'll test drive this son of a gun here in just a second. I'm enjoying a quiet day. And I'm going to have a lot of people really upset with me, but I'm okay with that. There's nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can do about it. My phone carrier has decided that it doesn't want to let anybody ring through today. So I have to have my wife's phone here just in case an emergency happens. I have some means for somebody to be able to get a hold of me. Now we're going to put some labels on this thing to help us, me primarily, because I'm slow and not all that smart. Remember what everything is here. It's a little unclear who built this thing. Very 1980-ish style of building. I got the case all squared up. The front tin here was just bent to holy bejesus when I got here. And we didn't know which way anything was, what anything was orientated, in, out, all that kind of stuff. So I've got all that worked out. On. Off. And then this is our sideband delay. And the middle switch is preamp, which it does work. It's got a fairly low noise floor to it, which makes me kind of happy. So now we got labels on the front. On the back, it says MTR, and then it gives a serial number for some reason. And we are kind of working. It is making a little bit of power. I'll show you that here in a minute. So we're going to do in, space, out. Printing. I'm just not feeling the mojo for today. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I've had a great day. Got plenty of sleep. I'm like stuck in grumpy mode. I don't know what that's all about. I know I better go not talk on the radio because I'll start ripping people's heads off. And that'll be bad. People will be all upset. Baby, why are you so angry? Yeah, man, have a Snickers bar. Okay, so out. Oh, dirty little son of a... Look, Nancy, we don't want you to be that dirty. Okay. All right. So now we're labeled all the way around. I need this in a minute because we're going to employ the magic screw driver. Come on. Oh, out of here. Come on. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's go over here and take a look for our watt meter. So I need my oscilloscope on, my spectrum analyzer on. As those two things boot up. It's 1,000 watts in peak there, right? Yeah. 1,000 in average, and of course our 5-watt slug in reverse. Back from the bird, 10,000 watt dummy load. We will be using a 5-watt slug in between the 2950 and our little unknown, unlabeled two-bill. Hello. That's our pass-through. Hello. Also known as drive. Hello, hello, hello. Well, it's not too dirty. What's our input tune? Hello. Oh, it's horrible. Hello. Let's adjust that cap. Hello. There's that cap. And now let's play with the swamping capacitor. Hello. Something is not right. I think we might have a transistor that's down in the C. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. No, they're both working. It's working. Preamp is working. Oh man, what the heck? Okay, everything else on this amp is wired this way. Check it out. So, focus. This is on. This is preamp. This is SSB delay off. SSB delay on. Okay, it's gonna be one of them boxes. I'll take you off. Come on, here we go. Blob of jism. Come here. Okay. I'll take you. We'll solder you there. All right. So now reattach my hot lead. Power on. Sideband delay off. Simple stuff, right? Basics. Basic stuff. All right. See if we can get our output to come up a little bit. Now, I would not expect to see more than about 200 watts out of this thing. So we're going to change our scale of measure. We're going to go to a 100-watt slug. So now this is a 100-watt element here and 1,000 in average. Hello. Boy, isn't that so much more dramatic than this? Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 20 watts. That's all we're going to put into this thing. So we'll go up to 2x. So now when this needle gets all the way over here to the corner, that's 200 watts. And I'd be really surprised on the 12.5 volts that we're sitting at the moment. Hello. Let's be right about there. Hello. Oh, it looks good on the spectrum. Hello. It's right at 100. And now let's get our input tuned. Hello. 120 watts on 14 volts. Just way out of whack. Too many fingers in the cookie jar. All right, let's bring our voltage up a little bit. Waiting for our capacitor bank to charge. Sometimes this takes a minute. All right, we are at 14.5. Hello. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so let's go up here. Let's take a look here. It's a 5-watt slug between the 2950 and the unknown 2-pill. Hello. Hello. Which is righteously hot. That's good. So 200-watt slug and peak. Hello. About 160 watts-ish. Let's repolish the output tune. Hello. How much frequency are we occupying? 5 kcs wide. Hello. There's our secondary harmonic suppression. Hello. Hello. It's about 160-ish watts, 170-ish watts, which is perfect what we're going to end up using it for. Let's go over here and take a look at our spectrum analyzer. Hello, 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 hello. That's at 50-something megahertz at second spike. Hello, hello. Okay, so we know that's a pre-existing signal. Here's the amp on. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Pretty darn clean, it ain't splattering all over the place. Okay, so this was easy peasy. This is really simple. Now, we tune that one for resonance, that one for resonance, and that one for input resonance. And we can use this in comparison with this, back and forth between these two caps, as our suppression, part of our circuit. Now, there is a small TVI trap here at the back. We could probably get a little bit more out of it if we go and fiddly fart around with this TVI trap, but it's absolutely not necessary once you see how we're going to go about using this thing. There's more to this story than just this little box. This tin was bent straight back. I mean, like it was laid back at like this angle. And this thing looked like an S on the front of it. So got this cleaned up, did power wire upgrades on it. Very basic, don't need to do a whole lot. Now we just got to lock these caps down to keep people from putting their little meat beaters in here and touching shit that they shouldn't be touching. Oh, but you know, he doesn't know what he's doing. He went in there and I turned that knob and all of a sudden I'm doing 300 more watts. But is it really watts that you want to be playing with? Yeah, it's all his fault. After I turned that knob, man, I can't get my antenna to tune. The SWR is too high and I don't know. It's all BBI's fault. You're right. Okay. So let's get this sucker locked down. We'll put a little bit of this special high temp paint on here. And this serves two purposes. This is like an anti-tampering thing, one, but two, and more important than number one, is to keep this thing from, these tuners from jiggling around. Now, if we lived in a perfect universe, which none of us do, you know, that's where we all had like 22-inch long schlongs that are 4.5 inches around, and all of our wives had 3 boobs. If we lived in that perfect universe, we'd pull all these tuners out, measure them, and then replace them with fixed caps. We're not going to go that far because I don't think the customer wants to go that route. He just told me do the wire upgrade, do my thing to it, make it run, and then set it up as a driver. Now, we're going to take a little diversion from this storyline, and we're going to go work on a separate storyline. So hold on a minute, I'll explain here in just a second. Is it off? Is it on? We don't know. It's a little gray300. Let's see, what do we got in here? SRF 3795. Huh, deja vu. I wonder if the technician that was in the other one was in this one. And oh, okay. So he tells me, customer tells me, says to me, he goes, well, the low, medium, and high switch is messed up. Sure feels messed up. I said, yeah, that's typical. The input tune on these boxes is deplorable. Always has been, always will be, till the end of time. It wasn't necessarily important to get the input circuit spot on this box because you hide all of it behind your attenuator at the front end for your low, medium, and high. He says he definitely wants low and he wants a high. He says, I don't know, if you can find another one of these switches and make it work. And that is chunky. Chunker butter chunk. Anyhow, like I was saying, they never cared that much about getting the resonance on the input side to match up perfectly spot on because you just hide it behind the attenuator. So a couple episodes ago, couple videos ago, I did one of these for a guy, and I played holy snot lockers trying to get this to tune to where it would be resonant and we could bypass this completely. Well, we have another option. We can replace this with a variable, and then we can hide the input tune behind a voltage divider. Not a big fan of that, but it's better than a low and high switch. Now, me personally, I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like to have any attenuation on the input of his boxes at all. That's the way I think most guys should be. We should all have a little bit of reality check and not think that we need to put an attenuator in between our radio and our box, ever. If we want to control our dead carrier level, we turn our radio down. We'll spend $10 and get variable power installed in our radio. And then we use our brains, the big gray mushy matter between our ears, and we learn about drive levels. This is a 4-pill. But it's only got 50 watt finals in it. So as we've seen in the previous segment, we can expect to see about 150 to 180 watts out of 2 transistors. Now, once again, somebody's come in here and they modified this and they put Arcos on here. A little bit lazy, but I'm sure it'll work. We're going to balance this box out. Hopefully we don't have any pop pills, because like I said, I don't have any of these on the shelf. They're $47 a piece, and we'd have to come back to this in 2 or 3 days. But this has had its power wire upgrade done to it. And once again, see, somebody has gotten crazy, and they did the same modification I did on the last one of these. Brought the power wire in, goes this little distribution bus, and then it runs down this trace, and it feeds both of these. The modification I did on the last one is I bypassed the on-off switch. Just as, well, this switch is borked up. Just like they've done here. They bypass the switch, bring it so it's constantly hot, increases the efficiency of the box, gets rid of this bottleneck of current. And then they've run the positive lead over that runs the board. Same thing I did on the last one I had in here. There's no grommet in play on this box. This is very unsafe. We'll fix this. Excuse me. It's been a couple days since I shot the last segment. I'm not gonna lie, I had to go back and watch the video to see where I left off. Okay, so this is where we're at with this. This is our input attenuator switch. Well, the problem is that this got bent. This whole armature was bent up this direction. It sat in here, so it got pried up at some point. And all the fingers on the finger stock are ripped off on the inside. So this is not repairable, unfortunately. But it's okay. It's me we're talking about. We've got a little bit of different skill sets. I don't have the skill set to fix that. I don't have the little pin machine that I could punch that out with and have a box of little copper tabs that are brass plated or brass tabs that I could punch back into it. But we've got a variable. Now, this is a 100 ohm variable. We're going to use two 5 watt 100 ohm resistors to attach a 50 ohm load to this side of the variable. So all the way off or down, okay, it's going to see 50 ohms to ground, and it's going to see a variance of 50 ohms to whatever the input circuit is. A variable voltage divider, fixed voltage divider. Knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bony. Okay. The other thing is I've got to take this switch apart and I got to repair the preamp. The preamp, the switch is active, but there's nothing attaching to the preamp circuit. So therefore the preamp doesn't work, but the LED is hooked up. So we flip the switch, the LED comes on but doesn't do squat. The other thing I want to do is I want to paint this thing. It needs just a little bit of love, which I can give this. I've got that. I got that technology. So, real quick, amp off at the moment. We're on 12 volts. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Amp off. Amp on. Variable. Dial a watt anywhere we want to go. Hello, audio. Now, what's shocking to me is the input circuit on this box, if I just jumper the two leads together, is so high, it's like 10 to 1. It's insane. But with the variable in play, let's go up here and let's take a look at this meter here. Our 5 watt slug in reverse. Hello, 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 hello. That's all the way open. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Now we're going to turn it all the way down. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, da da da. And even with it all the way down, because I'm only running a 20 watt radio into the amp, hello, still making almost 100 watts, but with no dead carrier. Hello. So, at the end of the day, we know that the gray input circuit's garbage. Post their fixed input circuit, it's absolutely worthless on the inside of the box. So what we strive for these days, when we're running this thing, or in any amplifiers, to make this circuit balanced on the input, balanced on the output. That way there's no restriction of RF going in. And then if we add an attenuator or a voltage divider like this in the circuit, we're running that into a matched circuit. You can't do that with some of the older boxes. The input circuit's garbage and then they bury it behind some attenuators. They just didn't care. Oh, we'll just put a low, medium, and high in it. And it also affords you the opportunity that you can't really overdrive the input of the circuit. But what we strive for today is we want to make this circuit resonant. That way we can get the max amount of output shmoo out of the transistors. So, now I can tell the cores are different than the last one of these I did. So I think this is closer to our stock variance of ideas here. But it is working. It's making somewhat-ish clean power. I want to go and I want to add a grommet over here to the power wires. I want to secure them so we're not pulling directly on just this trace up here in the front of the cabinet. And I'm going to repair the preamp. Away we go. This is our on-off switch. There are two screws that hold this switch together. One on top, one on the bottom. This spacer holds the actual armature in place. And as we can clearly see, that thing's bent. We all knew that guy in high school. Weird shaped dingus. Well, I'm going to straighten this out, put this all back together, which is a pain in the ass. And then I got to add another screw to it to keep the bottom plate from moving. We're going to get the power switch fixed too. Dull ass. You know, some days you just got to focus on the donut and not the hole. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what the theme of this all three of these boxes is going to be. We're going to focus on the donut, not the hole. Or no. So if it's a big girl, we're going to focus on the hole, not the donut. Yeah, that's how that goes. Focusing on the hole, we're not focusing on the whole donut. Okay. So switch is repaired, preamp is fixed, power wire grommets installed. It just looks like sin. So the green tape coffin here. We'll go paint this heatsink. Make it look pretty again instead of beat down, broken, used. Oh, see how bad's the tin. God, this poor old Gray's seen some miles, man. Got a phone call from an old friend of mine. Somebody I haven't heard from in probably 15 years. Local guy goes by the handle of Renegade. He bought from my friend Hugh about 1.5 million years ago this Messenger 16 pill. And it's not like the suitcase amp that I own. It's not like the long 16 pill that EPO owns, or not EPO, but Jason Iwata owns. It's different. It's just different. And I'm really looking forward. He called me, he goes, man, can you help me? I want to get this thing all running. Let's get it all back to work. And I was like, yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. This doesn't look too bad, but we're going to fix this too. So I'm excited. It's going to be an upcoming project here. I'm going to wait for him to get back in town and get it over to me, and then it's going to be here. I just think it's cool. I've had so many people from my past that have shown up, and they're wanting to get back in the hobby again. I think it's great. I think it's great. And oddly enough, none of them won't have anything to do with the... Yeah, I better not say that on camera. Somebody will get their little emotional feelers hurt, even though they run Facebook hate groups against me. I better not say nothing. I gotta hold myself to a higher power. Oh, I couldn't even use primer on it. This is just going to peel off again if I paint it. Because I didn't bother to scuff it. Yeah, see, look. I didn't bother to scuff it or put a primer on it. Well, if we're gonna do it, might as well do it right. Let's get out the Scotch-Brite pad. I think it's great I get to work on that amplifier again. And then I get to have that as an example to put a feeler out in the radio world to see if somebody's got one that they want to get rid of that I can buy and have for myself in my personal collection. I'm still looking for a Henry 8K, by the way, you guys. Every day, every minute, every second. Looking for a Henry 8KW. Okay. De-chipped all the paint, scuffed it up. I rub it down with some acetone to pull the oil off of it, and let's paint it. So, while that's drying, let's take a look inside of this. I can only wait to see what kind of nightmare is on the inside of this old girl. Big old school fans on it though. This is somebody else's homebrew idea of a fan kit, which isn't bad when you look at it from over here, but saying. Please be just a clean but dirty old girl. Oh, the heat sink's just dusty. That's cool. Okay. Okay. Still got the stock power wires hanging out of the back. That makes me excited. And one more. Drum roll. Oh, it's clean. Oh, it's got Toshibas in it. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Goodbye, skanky power wire. Let's see. Oh, it's clean. Nothing's burned up. It's in great shape. So we think there might be a phenomenon taking place in the amplifier world. I think that there are some Toshiba-based Texas Stars that are out there floating around. This has nothing to do with this box. That are out there floating around right now that might have fake Toshibas in them. I've got 4 different samples being sent here at the moment for us to thoroughly cover those issues. I would not be surprised if that ends up being the case. Virgin. She's virgin. Oh, she's a cute little girl. I was just praying to God that this was going to show up and not be a circus train wreck on the inside. And It's clean. This is straight up 1980s clean, man. Or late 1980s, early 1990s clean. Nice. Well, this should go pretty quick. I think we've all seen this done once or twice or 5 times in a row now. Pretty sure. Pull out all the old power wire, pull out the old ground network, put in new ground network, put in new positive wire, put a little distribution bus right here, run some 4 gauge over here, and then down the side of cabinet. It's gonna look titties. Cool. Clean the heatsink up a little bit, get rid of some of this oxidization that's on it. And then we'll put a brand new aftermarket fan kit on it that is supposedly Texas Star, but it's not. They're manufactured in China. I'll take a good look at the fans that are on this kit that came with this amp. Make sure they're not the ones that... Like, there's a couple kits that are out there floating around, you guys. I swear to God, a frickin' warm fart out of my dog's ass moves more air than those fans. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. Let's get all this duct tape schmoo off of here. Not a big fan of the ducker tape. Just not. We're going to focus on the hole, not the donut. Sometimes the donut's gross, but the goal is to get to the hole. Okay. Fingernail polish remover does the same thing, but Magnum Force 2 works just as good. Okay, so what we did is we did a power wire upgrade, put a 175 amp Anderson clip on this thing, and just basically made it so it wasn't such a lagging in the mud kind of little girl. So let's see, we got the amp off. Let's run through our gauges here real quick. It's a 1,000 watt slug on the right in peak, 1,000 in average, 5 watt slug in reverse. Hello, 1, 2. Okay. Now up here we have a 5 watt slug between the radio and the amplifier. Hello, hello, hello. So talking through it's no problem. Let's go ahead and kick the box on. And we're at 14 volts, by the way, guys. Hello. It works really good. 20 watts of drive. Hello. Hello. 1, 2, 1, 2. About 1,100 peak watts. Let's go look at our input tune. Hello, 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 hello. Nice and good and low. So now, the goal here is to use the little ass kicker that we did in the very first segment. This little guy here as the driver. So let's go ahead and let's hook that up. Okay, so now we got the little 2-pill in line. We're gonna hit it with, once again, 20 whole watts. Let's go over here and let's make sure we got everything set up. We're in a 1X position. Amplifier off, just a driver. Hello. About 150 watts. Hello. Audio. Pulling 144 amps total. Hello. 55 amps. And we're pegging out the scale. Go up to 2x. So now full deflection on the meter is 2000 watts. Oh, right at 1600. That's exactly what we were looking for. So this is set up to drive this with a low drive radio. Not no 150 watt striker. Just a simple plain Jane 20-30 watt radio, little Cobra 29, something like that. It'll last you all day long. This is set up for sideband. This is set up for AM only, remember? Remember us talking about that? Okay, so now for us to finish this out, I need to do two more things. Finish this box out anyhow. So what the guy wanted is he wanted me to set this up for his driver. So now for us to finish this out, because I'm a stickler about this, I want it so that when you turn the amplifier on, the fans turn on. And they run all the time until you turn the amplifier off. And we do that by moving one wire. We got to make it switched. We can't just jumper this thermocouple. The fans will be on all the time. We take this wire and we extend it and we go to the center pin on the switch. And that makes it so that when you turn the amp on, the fans turn on. Now remember, this is very important. Very, 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 very important. That you never unplug the fans with the power on. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull the fuse holder off of here. I'm going to put it over here on this switch. And then I'm going to put a 5 amp fuse in this thing. Okay? So that way, if you end up accidentally, maybe the grandkids or, you know, your buddy comes over and gets cocky and unplugs it, all he does is he ends up popping a fuse. Otherwise, it has a tendency to back up and it'll blow this trace out. This little tiny trace right here on the board. So let's get that done and let's get the fan kit on it and get that tested. Okay, so went ahead and I labeled what's what over here. And then I labeled fan remote in the back. So you've got a label back there so you know what you got to plug what into what. Now, I'm not going to lie, I had one of these come in here one time, these fan kits, and the fan barely moved any air. Thank God this isn't one of them. It's doing a good job. But in the same breath, it's quiet. So, long and the short, we're golden. This one's done. And like I said, I put all brand new screws in it. It's clean as a whistle on the inside. I even shot it down with a little bit of clear so you never have to worry about it corroding on the inside. So let's go ahead, let's get the other ones all wrapped up and let's get done with this little project. What do you guys think? Bet you guys forgot all about this one. Well, I'm very interested to see how this turned out, me personally. Come on, come on. Now watch. My taping probably epically failed and I've got glue drip all down the front and I'm going to roll it right out here on camera. Oh, it come out pretty. It come out purty. Okay, so we fixed the preamp on this one. We added a rubber grommet. Let's see, what else do we do? We fixed the variable on this one and we cleaned the whole heatsink up and painted it so it looks all pretty and new. Then we took the tin and painted it up as well because it looked as rough as a Tijuana hooker. Not saying there's not hot Tijuana hookers, I've just never met one. So, taking into account I spent a total of one night in Tijuana one time. And yes, my friends that I went with, not only did they make us drag 2 1-gallon jugs apiece of mezcal tequila across the border, my friend thought it was his job, purpose, and meaning in life that he won. Oh, thank God I got him out of it. Tried to hire a hooker in the knockoff Hard Rock Cafe. Talked him out of that. Son of a bitch. But that's one of them life memories that you have that you're just like, man, really? I lived through that shit? And then they had to take me to the donkey show, they said. They weren't going to be complete with their lives unless they managed to get me into the donkey show. And I got lucky. It was closed. So I've never been to the donkey show either. But them guys are damn determined that they were going to make that happen. Oh, now see, here I go skipping steps. Shoot. Reach over here to the bucket of ferrite material. I'm so excited. This is the last thing I got to do is finish shooting this video, edit it together, and then I get to chill out the rest of this weekend and enjoy my Father's Day. Because I've worked all week long on some monumental projects that you all are going to get to enjoy. This shit has been on the bench, off the bench like half a dozen times this week. Literally, not figuratively, seriously. Thank you, Jeff, by the way, for all the lovely life memories. Like, it's the first time I'd ever been to California, too, and they stopped and made me walk across the border so I could know what it was like. Crazy good memories. Anyhow, thanks, Mr. Jeff. Appreciate you, man. All right, slide this through here. Lover.
Lover.
We're shooting a video.
Oh.
How we doing?
Good. Hi, everyone.
I got this one little bit I got to do here.
Okay.
And then I'm done for the day.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
Well, I was going to go to Albertsons. You want to go with me, or you want me to just take care of that?
It might be too late. The butcher block might be closed already.
You think?
You might want to call and check. I think they close at 5.
Oh.
I think. We're talking about what we're going to do for Father's Day. So guys, that's it. It's all completed, all cleaned up. The only reason we zip tied down the ferrite is we don't want it rattling around in there and making a customer all woogie woogie thinking there's something wrong. Look at that. It's close to like stock as you're ever going to get it. Right there.
Cute box.
Yeah, it's all repainted and everything.
Super cute.
Okay, let me handle this with the wife real quick and we shall return. I got to put 4 screws in this and then we'll do the little wrap saga. So here we are at the tail end of this little saga. We've got the sweet16 completely rebuilt, power wires put in it, upgraded, 175 amp Anderson clip added. We've got the no name, don't know what this is. There's no name on it, but relabeled it, rebuilt it, got it running right. And now we got our little gray300 all set back up. Switch repaired, completely rebuilt. Even before I put the lid on, I made sure to go ahead and put the paint on the variables so we don't have to worry about them moving around at all. It's got nice big long power leads on it. Case has been completely repainted, and so is the heatsink. Looks like brand new. Well, gentlemen, I got to run. I got a busy weekend coming up, and this is the Tail End Charlie, my Friday video. So that means it'll probably be coming out Saturday morning. I appreciate every single one of you guys tuning in, checking out what I got going on over here, as always. Remember, guys, I am not taking on any new projects until September 1st, period. Full stop, end of sentence. Don't call, don't ask. I can't, no, won't do it. And also don't forget, I'm still looking for a Henry 8K. If any of you guys out there have got one that needs to get repaired or you're interested in selling one, I am still on the hunt. So on that note, gentlemen, I appreciate you. Big shout out to Siglant, big shout out to Excess Power. And a big shout out to every single one of you guys. I appreciate you all tuning in and following along with the epic little procedures that I got going on over here on this little workbench. Till the next video, I'll see you guys. Bump bump.